Welcome to another blogging video. Today's blogging video is going to be a really good one, filled with a ton of information, hopefully. At least I didn't know it when I was starting to get into it, and it's all about emails. When I first started thinking about email lists for my blog, the only thing that I thought I had to worry about was newsletters. And so I was like, oh, this will be easy. I'll start doing my newsletters and then my email list will be set up. Oh my gosh, I was so wrong. For your blog, you need so many more things in place, at least I believe, for a successful email system. So this video is gonna be showing you kind of an introduction and an overview of what we do on the BSL side for our email list. We have over 100,000 subscribers, like way more than 100,000 actually, and it's very, very intense. So here is a brief overview just to get your, I don't know, it would have just been nice to have this when I first started because again, I literally thought that the only thing I needed to think about for an email list was getting that newsletter set up. And that's 5% of what we do on our email strategy now. So the reason that this video is so exciting is because our email course is now officially live. This course, we went into it thinking that this would take us a month to put together. It took us 6 months. It is by far the most micro course that we have. So now we have Perfecting Blogging, we have Perfecting Pinterest, and Perfecting Email. It is 99% probably our last course, but it's by far the most in-depth one just because our email strategy is the most in-depth strategy that we have. It legitimately took us 3 years to figure out. It is so complicated, so complex, and we had to get super in-depth to make it even make sense. So that is officially live, which is so exciting. We did a soft launch to people that have already taken our courses, and we have gotten really, really great reviews coming back from them that they love the course, which is always so exciting because we put so much time and effort into it. So like I said, this video is an overview to how we handle our email strategy at BSL, and how I would recommend you to do it as well. So I'm gonna kind of go through, there's 5 to 6 different sections. Let me count, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Yeah, 6 different things that we consider writing our email list. The first thing that we consider is how to get people on our email list. So that is done through, you can do, you have to give something to your email list for them to want people to, for them to want to join your email list. So we are all so smart now. We've been on the internet for a really long time, as a consumer, not as a blogger. And so you have to think about yourself, to get on someone's email list, what does it take? And for me, there has to be a really good incentive to get on someone's email list because I get so much junk mail. I don't want any more junk. So if I'm gonna give someone my email, I'm truly giving it to them because I want it. And so you have to give them an incentive. Why should they be on your email list? So that's the first thing that you need to consider. Then there's an opt-in. So an opt-in is a system that you can kind of take to get your, that reader on your email list. The opt-ins are really complex. There's a million different types of opt-ins. We obviously have our favorites and what we swear by and use. So do your own research for that or take the course. This video is kind of complicated because I want to make it super, super helpful, but I don't want to give away too much information where it's annoying to people that have already bought the course. So basically what you need to think of is free printables. You need to think of opt-ins. You need to think of what email system you are on. So we were originally on ConvertKit for the first 3 years. And then in the last year, we switched over to ActiveCampaign. The reason, well, there's a few reasons why we switched over from ConvertKit to ActiveCampaign. To start off, those are both super popular email platforms. I highly recommend getting on them. They usually have a deal where you can get 100 subscribers free, so you don't have to pay for them. ConvertKit was so expensive for us. We were literally paying over $1,200 a month. Basically my rent for my apartment to have our email subscribers on ConvertKit, which we have thousands and thousands and thousands and thousands of email subscribers. So that's why it was so expensive. But for the cost that we were paying, we were not happy with all the capabilities that it could do. And so we started researching. By Sophia Lee is very visual. We're an interior designer. We like pretty spaces. And so our emails have to be pretty too. And this is obviously going to be like niche space, whether your emails have to be pretty or not. In ConvertKit, the design capabilities are like non-existent. It's actually crazy. So we researched a ton of different platforms. We ended up using ActiveCampaign. We've been on it for about 6 months, 8 months. Just from an analytics perspective, it's insane the amount more that you can see, and our design capabilities are so much more. We didn't actually change our strategy at all. Our strategy was super successful. We have a really high open rate. We had a really high click-through rate. So really the only reason we actually changed was to get the design capabilities. But in changing, we learned that we could see so much more like background analytics. So we're really happy with ActiveCampaign so far. Do your own research. There's Flowdesk, there's ActiveCampaign, there's ConvertKit, MailChimp. There's a ton of different ones for what we need. And if we had to start all over again, because it was a bitch to transfer everything over, we 100% would just start with ActiveCampaign. So I recommend that too if you are looking into it. So then beyond that, so that's getting people actually on your email list. Then you have to set up welcome sequences, automations and sequences, and your tagging system. So those are just more things to think about. And it's like so complicated. Like I can't even tell you how long it took us. Legitimately 3 years. One of our most proud moments that Sarah and I talk about all the time is when we figured out our automation, because it's like so complicated, because you have to do it in a way where like people aren't getting 2 things at once, that they're getting the right thing, that it's set up with the right time. I mean, it's like so complicated. And so I remember we like looked at each other and we were like, that was like an out-of-body experience. Like we don't know how we figured that out. And it was really, really fun. And then once you have all that set up, then you do your newsletter. So like for our newsletter, we have multiple different newsletters. We send out 1 newsletter a week to each of the different sections for this blogging. We have a blogging newsletter, and that's a once a week email where we include this video. We give a ton of tips, insider things, if we know any deals for like the stock image website that we're using. And if they're having a sale, we'll let you know. If I've taken a course and I loved it, I'll let you know that there. So different things like that. But that is kind of how we handle our email system. So basically, I feel like that was kind of like, to sum it up, this is our thought process. And I'm not going into depth on like our actual strategy for each of these. Those are in the course, but our thought process is you have to get them on your email list. Then you have to set up an opt-in. Then you have to first you need the email provider in itself. So then you need to get them on your email list. Then you set up an opt-in. Then there's sequences. So you can put them in multiple different sequences. To have a sequence, you need an automation. For an automation, you need tagging. And then once they go through the sequences, then they can be transferred to your newsletters. And then you can send them other things. So like we have tripwires. There's like a million different things that we do. But I didn't know any of that going into starting my email list, and I wish that I did, because I would have set up things differently in the beginning. I would not recommend setting up an email list if you are at the beginning stages of your blog. The email list is by far the hardest thing that you'll do, and there's more important things to be doing in the beginning. The first thing that you should be doing is getting your stuff on Pinterest and then setting up affiliate links. Then you can get it with an ad agency, and then once you kind of get those set up, then you can start thinking about emails. For this course, if you are just starting your blog, do not invest in this course, because it's going to be too complicated. You're going to get confused. You need to have some background knowledge, not on emails and how to set up your email, but on the blogging world and the blogging side of things. And it will just make this process so much easier. But if you are like a year into your blog, or a year and a half in, or have your email list and it's not being successful, then this course would be really good for you, because it really does get into that nitty-gritty things. So if you have any email questions, basically what we did when writing this course is when you buy one of the BSL blogging courses, we have a Facebook group, which is like our mastermind. And questions are posted in there literally like 24/7, and the group is so interactive. It's like the best thing in the entire world. People are always answering questions. But basically what we did is, when we first started thinking about writing this email course, we were like, what type of email questions do you have? And we made sure that every single one of those were answered in the course. But if you have more questions, please let me know. And depending on like how in-depth they are, we'll either film another YouTube video if they're more like basic, but if they are in-depth, we're gonna add a huge bonus section, adding in all the ton of like other questions that we're getting, which is what we did for our Perfecting Blogging course and our Perfecting Pinterest course, and they've both been really successful. So I hope that was helpful. That was like kind of a lot of information and like kind of a spill. I know that wasn't like necessarily the most like, I know I just said I hope that was helpful. I think that was really helpful in the way of making things aware of what you have to focus on. Not actually the steps that you have to do it, but just like thinking of the process and knowing that, okay, when you start an email list, or if you have an email list, it is so much more than just a newsletter that you're gonna send out once a week. When I say a newsletter is 5% of what we do every single week, I am legitimately not kidding. It is 5% of what we do every single week. So that wraps up this video. Make sure to subscribe to this blogging channel, and I will see you at next week's video.